what is it that we can do to try and immunize ourselves as individuals against misinformation? I didn't have to say anything before, to embed the impression that I'm an authority because of the way I was positioned. That's known as a halo effect. Actually, my niece, she said when she saw the announcement of my appointment, my uncle, Lutfi Siddiqui, is advisor to the chief advisor. Imagine, how wise he must be. I was given a bouquet of flowers before I did anything. Imagine how distinguished I must be. Everything that I say must be absolutely true, right? So there is positioning that happens even before I come into the room. And one of the things I try to do, and I encourage all of you to do, is whoever it is that's speaking, take a few seconds to think about what are my biases that have been imprinted in me already before someone is here to speak. And the halo effect is most apparent when there is someone who is an expert on one subject and we assume that he or she is an expert on all subjects. And that clearly is not the case. The other is an anchoring bias. So it matters what's the sequence with which the presentations were done today. The sequencing matters because the first few presentations anchor some of the foundational concepts. Those definitions tend to prevail. And again, as long as we are conscious about it as consumers of information, that is not that big a deal. And I guess the final one I would say is the bias known as confirmation bias. We tend to come into something with pre-existing views. It basically means that you come with your biases and you ignore evidence that does not confirm your biases, and you catch hold of little bits of information that reinforce your prior beliefs to begin with. And I want to end on this note because I think this is the most important bias to be mindful of. We have assumed that misinformation is about people who are, other people who have different views to me, who are trying to influence and manipulate people who are on my side of an argument through false information. I think we need to be careful of misinformation by those who are on our side of the debate, because it's easier to fall into misinformation traps when it kind of sounds like it is what I believe in anyway. And I see social influencers right now who have generally done great things, but they need to remain relevant. And so incrementally, the next video they post or the one after that they post becomes slightly less rich in information content and slightly more in sensational content. And we fail to detect that because, broadly speaking, they are confirming my biases. And we are more forgiving and sympathetic to them than we are to those who are from the other side of the debate.